As of the release of this video, I could not find any public statements and/or press releases from Bill Fitzpatrick and the Onondaga County District Attorney's Office in reference to the murder of Robert Brooks. My request for comment was unanswered by their press person. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, know this. January 2nd, 2025, Letitia James named Bill Fitzpatrick the special prosecutor in the Robert Brooks murder. 32 days later, no grand jury indictments and no arrest. This has left the general public with outrage, some with complacency. This is where I stand based on my research. William Fitzpatrick will not file any charges against any of the officers and staff involved in the murder and cover-up of Robert Brooks. In the previous video, which I will link at the end of this one, the answer is fully explained thanks to Anthony Farina's son. Before I did some research on Bill Fitzpatrick, here are some questions I asked myself. Is the Onondaga County District Attorney's Office just as corrupt as the correction officers and staff at Marcy? Will Bill Fitzpatrick personally keep the status quo and not prosecute these officers and staff? I pose this question because he was sworn in for his 9th and final term as Onondaga County DA. He will be retiring after he leaves this office. Here are some newsworthy items for your consideration.
Monroe County's DA will not face additional charges following her controversial traffic stop in Webster. The Onondaga County District Attorney declining to file further charges against Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Doorley following that heated traffic stop back in April. Good afternoon, I'm Matt Malloy.
And I'm Karen Edwards. DA William Fitzpatrick, who was appointed special prosecutor to review Doorley's conduct, releasing a letter today. 13 WHAM's Natalie Calzatoni breaks down that details in the letter and explains how community members feel about his findings.
For those of you who don't know, the Monroe County DA, Sandra Doorley, was pulled over by a cop, or the cop attempted to pull her over. She decided she was too good to be stopped by a cop, and she kept on going. There's footage, body cam footage of the altercation between the cop and this district attorney.
Karen, Matt, District Attorney William Fitzpatrick writes in a 9-page letter to the state's 7th Judicial District Administrative Judge William Taylor and Chairperson of the Monroe County Board of Ethics Jason McNair that he is declining to file additional charges against Doorley.
You know what? If you give me a traffic ticket, that's fine. I'm the one who prosecutes it.
This body-worn camera footage showing Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Doorley berating a Webster police officer at her home following a traffic stop on April 22nd prompted community outrage. Following an investigation by the Board of Ethics and Office of Public Integrity, Onondaga County District Attorney William Fitzpatrick was asked to determine whether Doorley should face additional charges. Despite initially electing not to pursue the requested report, according to the Board of Ethics report from July 18th, Fitzpatrick released a letter Tuesday laying out all of the possible charges that could have been given following the traffic stop and explains how they aren't applicable today. Fitzpatrick writes, quote, "I'm not going to further pursue charges and disregard who she is and sacrifice her career on the altar of making an example out of her by bringing unsustainable charges. If you seriously don't think she knows she screwed up, that she's been embarrassed and suffered a blow to her stellar reputation, well, you haven't been paying attention," end quote. He does.
So as you can see from the letter that he wrote himself, he's not going to hold this district attorney responsible. She should have faced charges for fleeing from law enforcement. That did not occur. Obviously, William Fitzpatrick, he's keeping the status quo, and he decided not to bring forth charges against her. This sparked outrage within the community.
Does say Doorley's treatment of Officer Cameron Crisafulli was demeaning and unprofessional, and it would not have been an abuse of police discretion to have issued an appearance ticket for obstructing government administration had that been done on April 22nd. Community activists upset with Fitzpatrick's letter.
It's really instigating a huge lack of confidence in our criminal justice system.
This is just telling us that whatever position and power that you are in, you can get away with certain crimes, and you don't have to get the same treatment as if it was a Black man in a regular traffic stop.
I'll stop it here just to give you some feedback. So, for me, regardless of whether you are Black, white, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Chinese, if you decide to not stop for a cop, in most cases, you will have severe consequences. That did not happen with this Monroe County DA. She felt that she was too good. She was too good to be stopped. She was too good to be pulled over, and she was above the law. And to add insult to injury, William Fitzpatrick held to the status quo, did not recommend any charges for her, which he could have, in my opinion. So, very disappointing to see what occurred, the lack of accountability, the sense of entitlement from this Monroe County DA, Sandra Doorley, and the fact that William Fitzpatrick just held the status quo. Very disappointing. I wanted to bring to your attention another article. This is from Syracuse.com. State sets DA Fitzpatrick's pension. He retires for a day to pick up pension plus salary. Syracuse, New York. Onondaga County's longtime district attorney will collect more than $330,000 in taxpayer money this year as he begins to receive both the county's top salary and a six-figure pension. William Fitzpatrick, 67, left his job for 24 hours on December 31st, 2019, before returning as a newly elected official a day later. In reality, he's now been in the same job for nearly 3 decades. By leaving his job for a day, Fitzpatrick can receive his salary and his pension. Critics call taking a pension and salary, quote unquote, double dipping. But Fitzpatrick and others, like retired state Senator John DeFrancisco, have argued that it's a legal way to protect their families in the event of a death while in office. Fitzpatrick's wife, Court of Claims Judge Diane Fitzpatrick, is now entitled to spousal death benefits since his pension has been established. The term double dipping is insightful, but I'm actually protecting my family, Fitzpatrick told Syracuse.com. The Post Standard 2 years ago, when he unsuccessfully tried to retire in the middle of an elected term. Longtime elected officials have been allowed to double dip at age 65 with no penalties if they were in government service before 1995 and are at the beginning of an elected term. The DA abandoned his attempt to retire in late 2017, but made it clear before his re-election last year that his intentions hadn't changed. I'm not independently wealthy, he said in February 2019. I have indicated that I would collect the pension when it's appropriate to do so to protect my family. If that means next year or then, that's what I'll do. The DA has since declined to comment further on whether he would take his pension this year, noting he's addressed the issue multiple times in the past. He did not respond for comment when asked again Monday. So we see another potential conflict of interest, collecting a pension and then collecting salary, pension paid for by taxpayer dollars. Here we have another example of William Fitzpatrick doubling down on poor behavior or poor decision making. This also is from Syracuse.com. Syracuse Cop, who was sued and recommended for firing, retires into pension and job for district attorney. Syracuse, New York. Syracuse police officer Valen Smith was one of the most complained about officers in the department. The city spent $400,000 to settle 2 lawsuits over Smith's conduct, and another one is pending. A review board twice recommended Smith be fired for allegedly using excessive force and lying. It's a rare event. In 9 years and 699 cases, the board has only recommended firing an officer 3 other times. One case was so bad The board said it referred the matter to Onondaga County District Attorney's Office for possible criminal prosecution. I wonder what happened with that. But Smith was never fired or prosecuted. Instead, the DA's office recently hired Smith as an investigator. DA William Fitzpatrick said he was not aware of the Citizen Review Board's recommendations on Smith or any referral to his office, but stood by the hire, doubling down. Quote, there's a lot of stuff that gets referred to me, especially under the previous leadership of the CRB for criminal action. A lot of times we disagree strenuously. We investigate things differently than the CRB does, Fitzpatrick said. I know Valen to be an honest guy. I wouldn't question his word at all. So there we have it. The Onondaga County District Attorney's Office hired a former police officer who was recommended for criminal prosecution by the CRB. And not only does the district attorney not prosecute him, but he offers him a job as an investigator, and he doubles down by saying, I know Valen to be an honest guy. I wouldn't question his word at all. Very disturbing. I truly believe that William Fitzpatrick, the special prosecutor, is not going to summon a grand jury. He's not going to indict. These officers are going to walk away unscathed. They will not be arrested. They will not wear bracelets at all. William Fitzpatrick is going to be making up a reason not to prosecute these corrections officers and staff engaged in the cover-up. I truly believe William Fitzpatrick will use the excuse that Anthony Farina's son said when he was confronted by the Long Island audit. He said it happened to him at Mohawk. It happened to him at Mohawk. I believe that William Fitzpatrick will use that. Will use that he was assaulted by two inmates at Mohawk Correctional to state that this is the reason why he cannot prosecute those officers because of what happened to him, what happened to Robert Brooks at Mohawk. If you found value in this video, please like the video, share the video to help me with the algorithm. And if I've provided you with value, you enjoy these videos, please subscribe. I appreciate it immensely. Thank you, take care, and God bless.